Hey, what's up, rock stars? It's Rox with a little bit of talk about what's at the top of the blog. So let's get to it. All right, rock stars. Hopefully you guys won't hear a lot of the outside noise. My top is on, but halfway off. It's not really fixed like it's supposed to because I had it off, but I usually like to have it on for the videos. But I don't feel like doing all that. So I just kind of threw them up there and you can kind of hear about what's going on outside. And I live right by I live in the path of the landing zone for the airport. So hopefully you guys won't hear the planes, okay? We got a lot to talk about, so I'm just gonna get started. Your girl did fall down the Kwame Brown rabbit hole the other day. I spent a good part of my day just listening to him speak. I mean, I was quite entertained, you guys. I mean, you know, it started last week. I meant to talk about it in my top of the blogs last week, and then I just forgot. I figured that it would have died down by now, but no, it has actually, if anything, it's amped up. It has revved up. And it's become quite a big thing. So for those of you guys who don't know, Kwame Brown was a basketball player, an NBA basketball player who was signed on immediately out of high school for a huge contract. He was expected to do big things in the NBA. And because of a series of different things that had happened to him in his career, a lot of things that were out of his control, his career did not pan out the way I guess some sports pundits had expected it to. And but he was a success financially. He made quite a bit of money. Evidently he was a topic on a All the Smoke podcast with Matt Barnes and Gilbert Arenas. And he was not happy with the way that they talked about him. So as they had things to say about him and his career, I don't see any problem with him having a response to what was said about him. He was the subject. It is him. He should be able to respond. I don't have a problem with anything that Kwame Brown is saying or doing. It's getting exponentially larger, though, I said. It's not just contained to the sports world. It has now gotten out. We know that Charlamagne the God and the Breakfast Club was also has also gotten mixed up in this. And I mean, I can totally understand why Kwame Brown would feel the way that he does. You know, it's one thing to talk about a person's career, you know, you as a fan of basketball or whatever, and if you may have different opinions on the game, that's one thing. But when you start bringing into the mix what has happened in his family, things that are outside of his control, getting way personal on a topic that didn't need to go here, I mean, can you blame the man for being the way that he is? Okay, now he definitely one that will continue on with it. I think that people wish that they could just say things and then control your reaction, and that's just not the case. You know, some people will let things go, and then some people just won't do that. And Kwame Brown is definitely of the I'm not letting this shit go type. And I'm not mad. I mean, I'm not mad. That rabbit hole was considerably entertaining. I was able to learn a lot of things. I don't think that Kwame Brown is a bad guy. I think that he has many things that he wants to do. This has given him the platform and the spotlight to maybe get some things done. He's coming after everybody that's had something to say about him. And I mean, it's nothing more than that. Y'all getting some of that, what do you call it, mama's cooking? You know, him and his different nicknames for everybody, Becky with the good hair and Charlamagne the hoe, and you know, all of these things that he's been saying. I mean, I don't know if anything will change as far as the machine itself and the things that people say and do in media, in entertainment. Definitely he has some points when he mentions how many of these different shows do seem to focus on the negative when it comes to the black community in and of itself. Not necessarily just black men definitely, but black community as a whole. We tend to get the more fantastic, negative type of spotlight. And he's tired of it, so I'm not mad. I'm just not mad. So we'll see. if it's going to slow down or if it's going to rev up. We just gonna see what's gonna happen. But this has been going on now for 2 weeks now, and really Mr. Brown don't look like he's losing any steam. So I mean, what else are you supposed to say about it? What do you guys think about what's going on with Kwame Brown? I know one thing, people gonna leave him the fuck alone. I know that. But you guys let me know what you think. Let me get off of that, move on to the next. All right, you guys, next story up. I'm just gonna hop around because I got a lot of topics. Brashear Gray. Okay, you guys know him as Hakeem Lyon. He played for many seasons on the hit television show Empire. You know, that show is no longer on. And I don't know what exactly Mr. Brashear Gray was doing once the show ended, but it seemed that he had gotten off of the path and was having some sort of mental health episodes. And remember, I told you guys about this maybe about 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I mean, God, life is definitely happened before COVID. So it had to have been maybe around 2 years ago when shortly after Empire ended. Remember, I told you guys about him being, him and his girlfriend had just bought a home or had just moved into a home. They were evidently inside of this home and he was having some sort of mental breakdown, and he was holding the girl captive, had beat her up and would not let her out. Okay. She was able to sneak out and run off and get some help from people in the neighborhood. And when the police were called to the home, he hadn't even realized, I don't believe, that she had snuck out the house. He may have been on something, but there was a standoff that went on for some hours before they finally was able to get him to calm down enough for them to safely arrest him. And now we find out that he has pled guilty to charges of aggravated assault back in February of this year. Because he pled guilty, he's going to get 10 days in Arizona jail, in the Arizona County Jail, and he will also serve a 3-year probation sentence in which he's not allowed to drink alcohol, and he's not able to have any contact with the victim unless it's approved by the Arizona adult probation. You know, the probation people have to approve it. I would imagine that the girl, I mean, you never know. I don't know if they're still together or not. So I don't know if he still has contact with her. But besides all of this, he has to take a domestic violence offender treatment program, and he has to pay restitution to, now this is actually his wife I'm reading, not his girlfriend. So this was his wife. So yeah, oh, you know what? Actually, they're saying that this happened in July of 2020. Gosh, it seemed like it was longer than that. So I guess this did happen while COVID was going on. Child, we was wild and there was a lot going on. People was really having a hard time with this quarantining thing. So hopefully this is going to close a chapter for Brashear and things will get back on the more positive path for him. We saw the pictures of him when he was arrested, and his booking pictures didn't even look like himself. I mean, I thought that he looked more like Mos Def than himself. And there was just something very vacant about the whole thing. His face looked like there was no life there. I felt sorry for him because there definitely was something going on there. So hopefully he's going to get the treatment that he needs to correct whatever this issue is while he is serving his sentence, going to the different treatment programs and whatnot. All right, let's move on to the next story. Child, what's going on with your girl SummerWalker? What is happening here? Okay, now listen, y'all know that I don't like to make things hard for women. I am definitely pro-woman, okay, especially pro-black women. I try not to talk bad about them or anything, okay? We don't need another person out here, putting us down. So I get all of that. SummerWalker, being a young black woman who has told us that she's had, problems just dealing with the public. She feels like, if she never had to even be on be out there for the public consumption, and that's how she would live her life. I'm not really sure how you do that when you are a singer, you're an entertainer. Your life is definitely out there. It doesn't have to be. You don't have to be on social media. You don't have to share your life that way. But of course, the way that things work today, social media tends to bring more followers and fans your way. It's another way for them to to connect with you. SummerWalker has been quite vocal in the past, which is interesting because at one point you say you don't want to have any contact with people, but then you are, you are definitely on social media and you are making contact with people. She's had many opinions, like most of us do, and she has shared it on Twitter and social media, on Instagram in the past. Now, we knew that SummerWalker had just had a baby with producer London on the Track. And even though they had their ups and downs during her pregnancy, they seem to be together and holding strong right now. SummerWalker had said that she was not going to be showing her baby on social media because people were too critical, which I totally get. If I was an entertainer like that, I would not want my children to be on these social media streets either. People just have too much to say. And then of course with her past, people have a lot of negative things to say. Okay. And when I talk about her past, let me just kind of tell you guys what she said in the past. This was in the summer of last year, of course, before she got pregnant, before, we knew that she was having a baby, or at least before we knew that she was having a baby. She was talking about, she was just giving her opinion, and this is what she said. Y'all weird for even giving babies that processed government shit. Throw some real fruits, veggies in a blender and give it to them. A pear is 43 cents. Similac is $32 to $36. I don't understand. A bowl of fruit for the child would still cost less than formula for the week. To feed the child daily, $1.67 meal, 1 pear, 43 cents. Meal, 2 apples, 74 cents. Meal, 3 peas, 50 cents. $11.69 weekly. And they drink water, so it's cheaper. $23.38 for 2 weeks. Now, I will be the first to tell you that being a new mother is not easy, okay? There are things that you have to make decisions on, and you hope that it's for the best of your, for the betterment of your child. And sometimes you just don't know if you're making the best decisions. You do the best that you can. Sometimes there are people who just really don't understand the development of a growing baby, okay? And the fact that a growing baby might not have all of the nutrients and have all of the developed bone, developed nervous system, developed, the baby is still developing. Even though you have this newborn child, it is a human being now. They're still getting the nutrients now. Instead of getting it from your body inside of you, now they have to depend on you giving it to them to make sure that they develop strong, have strong bones, strong teeth, and the such. So while I understand that people don't want to be giving their children processed things, they don't want to be giving them cow's milk or formula and all of this, it's still, you guys, this is still a newborn child. When they get a little older, then yes, you can definitely alter their diet so that they're getting more healthy foods. But while we're trying to develop this baby, you're gonna have to get this baby either some formula or some breast milk. Okay, now I wasn't a breastfeeder. I gave my children soy formula. You don't have to give formula that actually has milk in it. You can give soy milk, okay? Or you can be a breastfeeder, and that is where a child would get nutrients from. Yes, I know as a baby gets older, and they get to about 4, 5, 6 months, and you start giving them fruits and vegetables, pureed as baby food. But that is still in addition to milk, where you are getting your sole source of calcium. Calcium is what is making your bones stronger, okay? And this is just a thing. It has to be done. And they only say that you need to do this until the child is a year old. Then you need to give the child regular milk. And you work with your doctor to let you know when you can take them off of regular whole milk and start changing those things. But I guess that memo hasn't gotten to SummerWalker. So she posted the other day. Now, she hasn't posted this child, although she did post a picture of her holding the baby. The baby's face was blurred out. And then she posted that she was giving the baby hemp heart seeds, shrooms, and blending it up like as a baby smoothie for her child to give, to give to the baby. And now we just can't be doing that. Now, I know I'm not no professional on the nutrients that a baby is supposed to get, but I know that hemp heart seeds and shrooms blended up into a smoothie and giving it to the baby is just not this is not going to sustain a child. I don't even know what newborn baby can really process seeds. This is a very new track that these things have to pass through. And I mean, how does a baby even deal with having to have seeds in their system? Like, I don't believe that this is the correct way. I'm going to need my rock star nutritionists out there, my real ones. I know I got to have a couple of you out there. I'm gonna need you guys to weigh in, but it just seems like common sense would tell you that this is not going to this is not good for a regular growing baby, a newborn child trying to develop their system. Okay. And I don't know if this is in addition to, if she's giving her baby hemp hearts, shrooms, and water, that's just not going to do. Okay. Now, it's just one picture. We don't know what else it might be in addition to, but I still feel like maybe that probably is a little bit too much for a baby's system. But then coupled with a picture of the baby. Now, the picture didn't bother me much. The baby is thinner. The baby seems smaller. But, some babies are big and fat and juicy and plump. And then some babies are thin. People say that, we're used to having fat babies because we give them formula. And I will come back and say that I have seen some of the biggest babies be breastfed babies. I'm talking about big, chunky, fluffy, cute, dimpled, push into the skin kind of, fat knee babies out there come from breastfeeding. So that's not necessarily true. Some babies just tend to swing smaller than others. So even though the picture of the baby looked like it may be thinner or smaller or whatever, I'm not just going to go by that. But I can understand why people have an opinion and may even seem to be worried about what SummerWalker is doing if, you posting pictures of this is what you're feeding a however many month-old baby. No. Maybe she needs some parenting classes. I don't know if this recent post is even going to give her some trouble. People are saying that CPS needs to be involved. This kind of stuff could get them involved, not necessarily to take her baby, but like I said, possibly just give her some information that she needs to understand about a developing, growing baby, newborn baby. I was concerned when I saw that picture, but hopefully there will be somebody that will step in to help her out and just kind of clarify some things for her. People going off on her, that's just sort of how social media works, right? We know that social media is never it ain't the healthiest place when you're doing stuff like this. I don't even know why the girl would put any of that information on social media. She had to know. She had to have known that people were going to say things about it. And of course, she comes back and says, people want her to post a baby. Hey, bitch, show your child, we want to see. And then when you post the picture, then people have something to say. And that's exactly the reason why she's not showing a picture of her baby's face. She's never going to do it. So stop asking her to do it. Okay. Well, maybe you just need to just kind of maneuver this whole new mommyhood off of social media to get all together. And then that way people can't weigh in on, it's just sort of like a whole bunch of contradictions. Like, You have this fear or phobia of being out and amongst people and everything, but then you open up your life to social media, which even brings way more, people, way more eyes are able to see you on social media. And then when you post things that are going to be controversial like this, and you know that people are going to have something to say, don't post that shit. Just don't post it. That's pretty much it for me, you guys. I mean, hopefully somebody is helping her and educating her. And maybe there is a community of people that feed their child things like this. It's not the majority, though. I can tell you that much. It is her child. I'm sure she loves her child and thinks that she's doing the right thing for her child. If she knows for a fact that this has been a doctor-approved diet for her child, and, I'm going to get out of it. But just from me just peeking into her life from social media, like that don't look right to me. Shrooms and hemp hearts. No. But child, I'm gonna leave that alone. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. All right, you guys. So this is sort of a follow-up story on Malik Beasley. Remember I told you guys that he was living out his sugar mama fantasies with Larsa Pippen, not Pimpin', the ex-wife of Scottie Pippen, who seemed to get quite the run around. I mean, the run through out there in them streets. I mean, it just seemed like she was kind of going from man to man. Remember, we saw her with Future, and well, I guess Future was really the only one that I can remember her. But then Malik Beasley came out of nowhere. Her being 46 years old, him being 23 years old. She was completely double the age of Malik Beasley, and we were wondering how this was going to work, especially with the fact that Malik Beasley was already married, okay? 23 years old and married to Montana Yao. Evidently the Minnesota Timberwolves athlete. He was seen holding hands with Larsa Pippen as they walked through a mall, and it looked like they were getting increasingly closer. They were in a relationship. This seemed to be the way that the wife had found out about the relationship, and she was not happy about that. So she had a lot to say about Larsa, and I guess Malik and Montana were on bad terms at the time, evidently. So, I mean, you walk through the mall with your auntie holding hands and getting, that special blend of worms, child. Women can have the worms and give it to these boys too. Cute spiced up worms, but worms nonetheless. So Larsa was feeling herself at the time, and kind of had some slick shit to say about Montana, but most people had a problem with Larsa being with, one, this young guy, two, this married young guy, when he was still in a relationship, so all of that, okay? And just to put it plain, y'all, Larsa is old enough to know fucking better. Now, I mean, she could have just been having fun, all right? I mean, nobody says that you shouldn't be able to have fun in your love life. Maybe she wasn't taking it all that seriously. I don't know. But you have to also think that this man is married, so even though you might be having fun, well, you fucking up somebody's marriage, okay? Yes, he definitely is supposed to be the one that focuses the most on his marriage, but why you trying to be a willing partner, a willing participant in this fucking up of the marriage? I don't know. Well, now he is apologizing to his wife, Montana. It seems that the relationship with him and Auntie Larsa has come to an end. So now he says, I want to say sorry for putting you in the situation you were put in the last few months. My head wasn't where it was supposed to be. I was looking for more when it was right here that whole time. I'm telling the world and you that there's nobody like you for me. So it seems that Malik has made his decision, and that he has made it back to his wife and their child. They have a young child together. He went on to say, for the record, I was the one who ended my relationship off the fact that there is no one like you. Also, for the record, I wanted to do my own ish because I just left you guys, and I def ain't the type to set up pictures at the mall and ish, as that's some childish ish. You talking about being childish, and the motherfucker is writing ish instead of just saying shit. Okay, you old enough to say shit, nigga. And I'm trying to grow individually and grow a family, a real family. I ain't looking to be judged. I'm looking for forgiveness, to forgive me for hurting my family the way that I did. At the end of the day, I'm a lover boy, and I miss holding y'all and loving y'all. I miss you. I love you, Mushi. I love you, Kai Kai. Love my family over everything. So yes, Larsa out, Montana and the baby in. All right. 23 years old. I mean, you're going to make mistakes and all of that. Hopefully he learned whatever lesson that he needed to learn in this. And Larsa just needs to let it go. I mean, were you really planning on being with this boy? Like, I don't know. Larsa seems to be trying to pin down her next check. I mean, I'm sure she did okay in her divorce. Girl, just gone. There's plenty men out there for you to date. You can date the young ones, the old ones, whichever way you want to do it. Just don't let it be somebody else's husband. That's all. I mean, is that really asking too much? Anyway, Malik say he's sorry and he going back to his girl Montana. All right, you guys, real quick story. Congratulations are in order to our girl Fantasia. She and her husband have welcomed baby girl Keziah, Keziah London Taylor. We know that Fantasia seemed like she was pregnant for a long ass time. She finally gave birth to the baby. She's been keeping a low profile, as she should, you know, just trying to prepare herself and her family for their new bundle of joy, and she has made it on the scene. So congratulations to the happy couple. We will see now if we can get Fantasia in a versus battle, because that's what people were asking for. I don't know who Fantasia will be going up against. Oh, you know what would be a good Fantasia battle? Her and Faith. I think that would be some singing down, child. I would love to see Fanny and Faith. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. Who would you guys like to see Fantasia in a versus battle with? I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, I'm just here for all of the acrobatics that the voices would be going through that day, child. I mean, that would be some taking off the shoes and yelling. Although Faith recently, I'm not sure if it's because she smokes or what, but her voice is starting to change. I'm starting to notice. It was a sort of that same heartbreaking moment when you noticed that Whitney Houston's voice was changing. Down to their core, they're still excellent singers, but when you start to hear that there is some shortness of breath because their lung capacity is probably, you know, filled with smoke and whatever else is going on, you know, I've been able to notice that with Faith in the last couple of times that she sang, but still, I would love to see them two in a battle. But you guys let me know what you think. But anyway, that's getting completely off of track. Congratulations to Fantasia and Mr. and their new baby Keziah.